All right,
Thank you so
and now
much.
I'm gonna get out of here, and Rocco, we got about 20 minutes to go. All right, so I'm gonna get out so you guys can start talking.
Thank you, bud. Appreciate it. All right.
Hi, man.
Welcome to Gru, and thank you so much for coming on and doing this, bud. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Of course, yeah. So the first I want to ask you about the film is what in inspired you to want to make the film, and what inspired you about Justin's life.
It was just it was a thing that I'd always been really passionate about, and I had just by happenstance happened to become friends with Justin. Like I talked to him at a show, and then he was like, we stayed in touch, and then anytime that one of his bands would come around, I would just go, we'd hang out. So we'd known each other for like 9-ish years before I asked him to make it, and then one day I just shot from the hip and asked him, and I was stoked because he was very into it. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a very important scene to me, and it always had really interesting lore to it, and there's always like these crazy stories you would hear about it, and so it just felt like it was ripe for a documentary.
Oh, sweet. Okay. And by making the film, I'm sure you're a big fan of the scene, the punk scene.
Hmm.
And when did you first get exposed to the punk scene, and who were some of the bands that you loved listening to in punk?
I mean, I grew up so I grew up in like a Florida trailer park. So when I was in like middle school, I was very into like new metal and stuff like that. Probably the closest thing to like a punk band out of that that I was like really into initially was like System of a Down, and like they were very political. And then that naturally like progressed into listening to more political stuff, going into like high school, like Fugazi and like all the Saddle Creek stuff, all the Discord record stuff. And so like I slowly just found my way out of like more white trashy taste and got more into like more nuanced thoughtful music from there. But like my gateway really was like new metal. I was an angry kid and I liked heavy stuff, and I just slowly like found my way into like the right realm of it that I felt more at home in.
Oh wow, okay, nice. And what are your thoughts? I mean, of course, by making the film and hanging out with Justin and listening to his stories, like growing up in the punk world and him scratching and clawing, trying to make it to the top. Like, what are your thoughts on the punk scene when Justin was was trying to come out on top?
Yeah, yeah, one, I think he's a really, really ambitious person. He's really practical, and he's managed to have a lot of sustainability because he's just like has endless energy, and then two is just like it's very single-minded about it, and I really admire that. Like as trying to be a filmmaker, uh, it's not easy. Like it's expensive, and you have to convince a lot of people that it's worth taking a risk on you, and it's years of work sometimes to finish a movie. And so I saw all of that in him, and I saw him as like a good example for it. When it comes to like the scene that he came up in, it's very different than it is now. Like it's much more macho. It was very like jorts guy fucking like crowd killing, and like just be like this very like toxic kind of masculinity that was really like permeating the 90s scene. Where like I actually feel like the new scene that's emerging now is way more similar to what 31G was doing in the late 90s and early 2000s. Like it's very political, it's very queer, it's very inclusive, and like the shows are much more diverse. There's more diversity of sound. Like there's not a purity of genre. Like everyone would argue back then about so many dumb things of like, oh, you're gonna have this part of the song, you're gonna have this part, this, none of the stuff makes sense in here. Where like now it's like you listen to some punk albums and it's just like, okay, there's just like a rap verse, and then there's like a saxophone solo, and then there's like a weird like marimba section that's here for like a weird breakdown kind of a thing. So like I think that music has become a lot more experimental and playful, and I think that that matches Justin's music a lot more than the scene that he actually came up in.
Nice. And what is it about the Swing Kids and the Locusts that stood out from the other bands? Like, what do you think stood out about them?
For me, what stood out about them was they were one. They were like I'd already listened to masked bands, like I was like into Slipknot and stuff as a kid, and like but they were like masked without being spooky. Like it was like there was a silliness to it, and it was like I said, it was playful. Um, but it also like it's the whole package. It's that, it's the fact that there are like weird electronics and keyboards on it in this music that would otherwise be like pretty organic. Um, and then like the song titles are like full sentences long, even though like they're 40 seconds long as a song. So like the whole thing just like broke my brain. Like I was like, this isn't like music's not allowed to be it. It's like I used to call it like anti-music when I first got into it because I didn't know how to explain it. Where I'm just like, there's no bridges and there's no nothing. Like every part of a song is shortened to like one pass through, and then it just like comes all at you at once, and then it expects you to try to keep up with
Yeah, not true.
it.
And what do you think about the mask? Like, I saw Justin like from the film and the pictures and stuff, and
Hmm.
he was like a lot of different masks on stage. I think that's
Yeah.
really cool, and it's definitely like in it definitely inspired like bands that wear masks now, like you were saying, Slipknot and bands in that era, in that genre.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, no, I think it's cool. I think that like there's something about like doing costume work on stage, whether it be like people like him or like I mean even back Kiss, Alice Cooper, like anyone that did like a larger than life sort of character that they were playing on stage. I think it makes it very theatery, and it sort of detaches them, and it puts them sort of you can do more with it because you're more abstract, because I feel like you don't have like a clear personality the way that like a normal band would be. Like when you see Menzingers, it's like it's those guys, where like the Locust could be anything.
Yeah, and what I love about like going to see a band live, whether it's a punk band, a rock band, a pop band, like whatever kind of band, like I the songs are what stands out to everybody. Like if they go see a live show, like they sing along to the songs stand out. But for me, it's the stage presence, like how the person acts on stage, the energy that they bring on stage. And would what do you think? Like, do you think more of the stage presence, or like going to listen to the songs? Like, what do you like more?
I mean, I think it's kind of like a situational thing. There are definitely bands where it's like, oh, they're just great, and I don't want to just stop and talk to the audience at all. I just go straight through it and just kill it. But yeah, then there's other times where like if you go to see No Effects, like Fat Mike talked for like half of their sets, and it's all funny and it's all jokes, and like they razz each other on stage. And so like it's different for each situation. But yeah, when I go to shows, like I'm hoping to not just like hear an album played back to me. Like I'd
Yeah.
like to like have an experience. Like you want to feel the room be alive, and you want there to be crowd
Yes.
interaction. You want to feel connected. You want to like have like weirdly intimate moments with strangers that feel really personal, and like maybe you'll never see them again. You know what I mean? But like there's a guy you grab and you're just like doing the same vocal part or whatever together. Uh, like that can be really connective. And so yeah, when I'm at shows, it's more about like the vibes in the room.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. And what is it like about the punk songs and the punk lifestyle that drew you to it?
I grew up pretty poor and like pretty broke, and like not from like a supportive family. And so like you have to go out and you have to find your own family, and you have to like make your way through things. Um, so like that's really what attracted me, was like the community, and there were people like me that had gone through the same things as me, and we could like coalesce together and like do like accomplish the things we wanted to accomplish with the help of each other. And like I think that like DIY mentality is really the strongest part of it, more so than like any of the image or like any clothes people wear, or the way they do their hair or makeup. Like none of that stuff matters to me. It's like the fact that like everyone I know that's come from like a broken home can like actually find people and like work through their traumas, and like possibly like get a leg up on life and like have a better life than what maybe was provided to you.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And by making the film, like, is there anything about Justin you actually learned that you didn't know about?
Yeah, it's it's interesting. Like I expected someone, I'd known him prior to it, but we didn't know each other as well as we do now. And like as I've gotten to know him through making the movie and especially through like touring it around, where we're like hanging
Mhm.
out for hours and hours, just like waiting for the movie to finish playing, and so we can talk to an audience or something. Um, it's just like that he's just like really kind. Like, he has this sort of reputation for being a dick and for like not, sorry, can I swear? Is that cool?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. But yeah, he has a reputation for like being a dick and for just like rubbing people the wrong way. And I can totally understand why. Like he's just a very direct person, but he's always doing things in a very productive way that are all solution focused. And so like he might be like, "Hey dude, you're fucking this up," or something like that. But it's always like in service of just like he just wants things to go right, and he wants to like do a good job, and he wants people to be happy, and he wants like to accomplish things. Like when he makes an album, he wants it to sell, and he wants like people to hear it. It's so like it's just focused on goals. And I feel like that goal orientation was something that like I don't even want to say like surprising, but it's just like it became very clear to me in working with him, where it's like no matter what was going on, it's like how do we do the thing we need to do.
Okay, okay. And by being with him and going on tours with him and seeing everything that goes on the tour, is there any funny road story, any funny tour story of Justin?
Yeah, it was great. When we were in Dallas, we were showing it at the Oak Cliff Festival down there. It's a great little festival. It's hosted in the theater that Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested in. It's awesome. But we were hanging out outside the hotel, and we were like waiting for our ride to get there to take us to the theater. And there was a guy that just like was this huge dude, like tall, and had like like the craziest skullet, where it's just like the entire top of his head was shaved, and then everything was just like mid back mullet. And in the middle of it, he's just like me and Justin were having a conversation, and he just like puts his hand on my shoulder, and it's just like, hold on a second, I gotta go take a picture of this guy's hair, and then just runs away and go gets a selfie with the back of the guy's head. Uh, like that's the kind of stuff he does. Like he's just trying to entertain himself, and it's always funny. Like he's just naturally like just a really funny person. Like everyone in that scene is just hilarious. I laughed so much making this movie just because they all have such funny, weird senses of humor.
I love it. I love it. I know you got some like tats too. What kind of tats do you got?
Oh, I mean, I got a lot. I got this octopus one was my first one.
Okay,
This is for Albert Camus' The Stranger. This is a Darwin one. This is
nice.
Bird, Cursive, House, Friday the 13th. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
yeah.
I'm a huge horror fan, so that Jason tat is awesome. I love that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it was part of one of those like Friday the 13th celebration sales. It was like $35. Like there was like 5 pieces of flash you could pick from, and I was like, "Can you do this one, but can you make it like this way instead?" And so yeah, it was great. Those are like my
Um,
favorite. That's like my favorite of all those big series, like Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street. Like I like the directness and the dumbness of Friday the 13th. It's just super satisfying. You're not supposed to care about any of the characters, and it's all just about creativity and just like directness.
oh yeah, for sure. Like the Friday the 13th films are the best. It's a shame all that legal shit that's going on with the
Yeah. Oh, I
franchise.
know.
I would love
Yeah,
to see another movie.
for sure. And it's like I know there's like a bunch of drama going on with the TV show. It's supposed to be the guy from Hannibal, and I think it's not him anymore. And so I have no idea what's happening with any of that.
I don't know either. Is there like a a a artist that you would love to see Justin do a song with, or just be on stage with?
Oh God, that's a good question. I'm a huge John Zorn fan. He mentions him in the
Mhm.
documentary. John Zorn was in a
Mhm.
band called Naked City, that was like a jazz band that used to play at jazz shows, and it slowly like degrades into this like super grindcore jazz, like insane jazz time signatures, and it's just like blast beats and just like squealing saxophone, just like crazy stuff. They would like chase people out of jazz clubs like slowly as they toured. Uh, I feel like him and John Zorn could make something amazing together. Like that dude. That dude's insane. He has like hundreds of albums that he's put out over his career. He writes like operas. Like he does tons of stuff with like the San Francisco orchestra, I think is what is the one that he works with. He does like stuff with Laurie Anderson. Uh, yeah, that guy's just fascinating to me, and Justin's never collaborated with him, and I feel like that would be an amazing fit.
Okay. What did you love most about making the film, about working with Justin and making the film about him and the punk life?
Uh, just like meeting all the people that I got to meet. Like I got to meet Gabe, was the drummer of The Locust. And we got to be like kind of close. And like I used to text him all the time, and he's just like, I think the opportunity to just like meet people that I admired and feel like seen by them, you know, it's one thing to like a band, but like when you're being treated like like I became friends with them, and I also like was looked at them like I was, you know, I was just getting to see them like as like actual people, you know, and like I was like invited into their homes and stuff, you know. So like that was the coolest part.
Nice. And I know Justin is a big coffee drinker, a coffee fan, so I have to ask you this. How do you like your coffee? Like that's if you like coffee.
I do like coffee. I'm kind of down for anything. I'm down for like a sweet drink. But a lot of times just out of practicality, I'll just drink it black just because I'm like focused on doing something immediately.
Hey, Rocco, I
So
got the
like,
bonus for you. Justin is just entered, so I can let Justin in the
oh,
room. And you got 5 minutes left in your interview, so you can have some stuff with Justin here. Hold on.
sweet, thank you. All right. Let's see.
Okay,
Hey,
so I don't know if Justin can
what's
hear us
up,
yet.
buddy?
Hey there.
Okay, and he'll listen. There we go. We got him. All right. So,
Hey, what's
Justin,
up?
we've got Rocco here from the Gru Show. He's been talking with John. He's got a few more minutes left in his interview, so he's getting a bonus to get you in on this one too. So I'm gonna get out.
Cool. Sorry, I had no idea that these were happening right now. So let's knock this out.
It's all good, bud. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
So, the first, I guess the question I want to ask you is like when John comes to you and says, "All right, I want to make a film based on your life, based on the punk scene." What are your your first thoughts about someone wants to make a film about your life?
John knows the answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. If you're crazy enough to do something like that's stupid, sure. I don't know if I don't think I'm warranted for a film. And after it came out, I kind of realized like it should have been about Gabe Serbian. But yeah, I was like, yeah, if you're crazy enough to fucking do something like that, sure. I mean, I'm grateful and very lucky that someone as bizarre as John wanted to do that, and it wasn't some asshole. Because there's like some really shitty documentaries out there that and no offense to John and his crew, but like I was like, oh yeah, we'll probably be as bad as those other ones, and then it was like super good, and I was like, oh fuck, this is rad. So yeah.
And, and I was asking John this, is there like a band or person like you would love to actually to that you would love to do a song with or just share the stage with?
Oh, are you asking me?
Yeah.
That's a loaded question. I mean, there's so many people to pick from, but also at the same time, I've been like grateful to work with some like awesome players. Mostly people will assume like very well known and like like sort of legendary artist. I mean, I'm like grateful for dealing with people that I'm like actually in bands with right now. Luke Henshaw being one of them, or who or, different people, but I don't know, like off the top of my head, like people that have been just like great influences in my life. I guess Nick Cave is one that would come to mind. And Warren Ellis. I would love to just work with those two guys, but I think I'm too brutal probably. But I would love to try to do something, maybe like bass or something. But I guess like in a younger world that I lived in, I would have said something in the realm of John Lydon, but I have worked with Martin Atkins, who I think is way fucking cooler than John Lydon. So like I've already checked that box in my opinion, because you know he was in PIL and actually like in everything else that was good, Killing Joke, Nine Inch Nails, fucking Pig Face, a bunch of stuff. So anyhow, yeah, for this answer, my long-winded answer, I would say Nick Cage.
Awesome. Okay. I'm looking at the time. I think we're at the time limit. So like the last thing that I will ask is where could fans follow the film, watch the film, and follow you both at?
Do you want to go first for your personals?
No.
Okay. You can follow at Don't Fall in Love with Yourself Doc on Instagram, at Turnstile Films on all platforms, at Jon Nix Film on all platforms.
Is it on MySpace?
Awesome.
Yeah.
I used to love that. Like I would always have my music on there and everything. Oh my God, I used to love that app, that site.
I wish I wasn't on social media, but I am. So I'm on most of them. You can just find it's like usually Justin Pearson or 31G or something. So yeah, I'm accessible to the planet.
Over. Well, thanks guys for coming on and doing the interview. It was nice meeting you both. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry
thank
I was
you.
late.
It's all right.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Well, thank you, Rocco. Appreciate it. And like I said, I'll send the file that I have, and so we have that to work off as well. And then we'll be in touch on the next one, man.
All right, buddy. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Take
Thanks.
care.
Bye.
All right. Okay. All right. John, 2 down, and then Justin, we got you on a bonus one because I wasn't expecting that I was actually going to get you until the last 2 or 3. So that's great.
I really think my time, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I am free for another hour and a half or something.
Okay. Well, we're all good, and in fact, we've got our next guy here, Gig from LRM. So let me get Gig in the room,
Okay.
and we'll get you guys started. So hold on a second.
Cool. Hi, Jon Nix.
Hey. My answer was John Zorn for you.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's rad. I met him. He's so nice. I'm
He
sorry.
seems like he'd be.
Yeah.
Okay, Gig, we've got you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I could hear you just fine.
All right, fantastic. Let me get you set up to record. All right.
Okay, I have it.
So you're set to record, and then I'm going to record as well for insurance here.
Okay.
As my dogs protect me from attack.